All right. Hello guys, it's Bart Johnson here, and it is Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and that means we are live. It has been a while, guys. A lot of stuff came up at the end of the year, work stuff, family stuff, travel stuff, and it has been a few weeks, maybe even months, since I have been live hanging out with you guys. So it is good to be back today. And we've got some fun stuff we're gonna take a look at today in the show. As you can see, I did a little decorating, if you will, really just tweaking the lighting in the background because it is almost Christmas, which means that right after that is the new year, which means 2018 is coming to a close. So today I figured we would sort of wrap up the year a little bit. You know, we're not there yet, but by taking a look at some of the gear that was my favorite during 2018. So this is gear that I relied on the most, that I found going into my kit the most often, no matter what kind of jobs I was going out to do. Not everything is new in 2018. Some of the stuff came out, you know, previously. I don't think I have anything that's older than 2017, but these are the things that I found the most reliable. These were my go-tos, and I want to share them with you guys. So we're going to look at all those things today. Of course, today is a live show, and the beauty of live is that you guys get to comment, hang out, ask questions as we go through all of this stuff today. So I have the ability to pull our chat up onto the screen here, so let me go ahead and do that now. There we go. We've got our live chat ticker right up here. So if you are in here, you are hanging out, please drop in, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions or comments along the way, please feel free to share them. I'll be checking on this periodically. And of course, if you have some gear that you found most reliable in 2018, let me know what it is, because we're always looking for, you know, the best, most reliable gear. And I may not have all the answers. I know what works for me, but maybe something different works for you. So today we are going to be oogling over some equipment and stuff like that. And if any of this equipment is something that you are interested in, I do have affiliate links to everything down below. So you can go and pick this stuff up if you want to add it to your kit. I get a little bit of a kickback from that, no extra cost to you. And it means that maybe after the holidays are over, I'll be able to pay off all my holiday bills. That'd be nice, but you know, I don't think that'll work out. But any little bit helps to keep everything running over here. I also have an Amazon link down there, if you go all the way down in the description, where you can look at all of my lists of equipment that I've put together, not just the one for today's show, but I have, you know, a live streaming setup kit, I have my lighting kit, all the equipment that I use, I've put into nice little lists so that you guys can check it out and all of that. So all of that is down there. I think that's out of the way. So if you still feel like doing some shopping, even with Christmas just a few days away, you can go ahead and pick that up now, or put it in your wish list for another time. But anyway, guys, we are going to get started. Looks like we got my buddy Drew Hester in here. Drew, good to see you. Thanks for commenting and chatting. As you guys can see, you can do just like Drew did and get your chat up here on the screen as we go through everything today. But we do have a lot to go through today. I tried to keep it kind of small, but I kept adding to the list. So I'm going to try and crank my way through these things and show you guys my favorite stuff for filmmaking of 2018. We got one more comment in here from Mike Haney. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Philadelphia area. Well, welcome. Welcome, Mike. Glad you're here. So let's get started. I'm going to get started with my go-to kind of camera that I've used for 2017, I think that's when I picked it up, and 2018. And that is the Panasonic GH5. So I picked up that camera wanting to have a smaller body camera to be able to do YouTube stuff like this. And that camera has quickly impressed me with its quality and versatility and portability over something like my Ursa Mini, which is kind of big. And I've found myself using it on more and more professional jobs as well. Now I can't show you the GH5 right now because, like I said, it's a workhorse for me, and it is actually running this camera right here. So this is my Panasonic GH5. So I know you guys are all familiar with the GH5. I don't need to hold it up and show it to you. Like I said, it's kind of old news, but it is still like my favorite go-to camera. I have shot more on that camera this year than even on my Ursa Mini, which is our A camera right here. So that says a lot about that little camera. There is, of course, like I said, a link down in the description below. You can get some great deals on this now because it isn't brand new. And so if you want to pick up a GH5, I really recommend it. So moving on to stuff that I can actually physically show you here on screen because it is not in use. I have another camera that I have found myself using that is really interesting and a little bit different. So let me get that for you. So it is this guy right here. And this is the Insta360-1X. And this is a 360-degree camera. Let's take a closer look at it here. So here it is. Here's the camera. I just started playing around with 360 video. I really thought it was kind of a gimmick. I didn't think there was a whole lot to it. You know, I had no reason. I'm not making virtual reality or any of that kind of stuff. But I realized there's a lot of things you can do with these cameras just shooting 2D or standard video. And this camera is the newest. I had the Insta360-1, which is the predecessor to this, and this guy has some upgraded features. I recently took it to Key West, and I actually posted a video just last night that was shot entirely on this. And it's not a 360 video where you are looking all over the place, but it's one where I was able to capture everything in 360 and then compose the shots later and direct the camera and do like camera movement, all within the app that comes with this. And it's really, really cool. So I put that video together, released it last night. So there's a link in the description down below. Make sure to go check that out. I am gonna have a full review coming on this. I did a lot of shooting with it in Key West, so that will be coming soon. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I'm working hard on that. And I'll give you all the nitty-gritty details about this camera. But obviously, since it's in this list, you can assume I like it. And I see myself using it more and more. And it may open up a whole new world of vlogs for this channel in 2019. We'll see. But yeah, really cool camera, Insta360-1X, brand new, really popular camera, really like it. Let's stash that guy over there. Oh, we've got the Forge Studios in here. Greetings. Not sure who that is from the Forge because there's a whole bunch of you guys. Maybe it's Ron. Yeah, good to see you. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy what I've got today on this list. And moving right along on the list, let's see what we've got next. So we've covered the GH5 and we've covered the Insta360. And make sure I'm not missing anything. I had to make myself a list here. So, okay, so those are the two cameras that I really found myself using the most. But I have another camera, I guess you could call it that, a camera that flies. So my new favorite buddy is this guy right here. It is the DJI Mavic Air. Now, I've been flying drones for a long time now, ever since the DJI Phantom 1, like way back in the day when you could fly for like 8 minutes and there was no app control or any of that. And since then, my main drone is the DJI Phantom 4, and I shoot a lot of stuff on that. But it was big, it was bulky, and it wasn't too fun to travel with. Now, I do still use that one when I have stuff that I can sort of drive to and I need the higher quality. But I went out on a limb and picked this guy up. And let me tell you, I have been so happy with this drone, especially for travel purposes. So make sure I get it in the frame there. So this guy, it doesn't quite have the image quality of, you know, the Phantom 4, the Phantom 4 Pro, and obviously the big Inspire cameras. But for a 4K capable, pocketable, you know, it folds up, it's super small, you know, it's freaking awesome. I took it to Portugal this year, and it saved me so much space, and I was able to just toss it in a little like carrying bag and walk around the city with it and deploy it when I needed to. I took it to Iceland, and it was absolutely amazing in Iceland. And I actually put together a video of my trip to Iceland like I usually do when I travel. There's a link to that in the description down below, and it heavily features aerial footage from this guy on that trip, and it got some amazing stuff. Like I said, it does have some limitations and whatnot. You know, its range is a little limited because it uses a Wi-Fi band signal as opposed to, you know, higher band signals like the Phantoms and stuff like that, and even the Mavic Pros. But for the portability and just for a fun little drone to take around and get really great quality footage for YouTube, or you know, you could use it for pro level stuff too. I highly recommend this drone here. I am absolutely in love with this thing, and I look forward to flying it a lot more in 2019. So let's get this drone set there. Looks like we've got a couple people popping into the chat. That's awesome. Let's see who we got here. Mr. Sean Mark Nipper, good to see you. I know you've got you have a Phantom, or not a Phantom, a Mavic Air as well, don't you? I believe I saw you playing with it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, on Photo Joseph's channel. But yeah, the Mavic Air, awesome drone. And there we go. I should have just read the next comment. He says he loves his Mavic Air. Got some great stuff in Costa Rica. Yeah, so for those travel destinations and stuff, like I said, this thing is fantastic. Nobody's going to ask any questions. It's easy to carry around. It folds up. It's easy to just pack in your luggage and go. And it's my travel drone. If I'm flying somewhere and I need to do some drone work, the Mavic Air is the one that's coming with me. Yeah. So, what do we got up next? Oh yeah, of course. So one of the things that pairs with this is, of course, you have the remote and you can fly it with your phone. You sort of put your phone into the little remote cradle and fly off of that. Well, I'm getting a little older, you know, my eyesight might not be as good anymore, and I tend to like big screens with a lot of real estate. So I wanted to find a way to fly off of an iPad with this so that I can see more. So I picked up this mount. So as you can see, this is the Mavic Air controller, and there's a little mount that's in here. Let me show you guys the close-up of it. Camera switch, there we go. So here is this mount. So it's a metal plate basically that sandwiches where your phone would go, and it has a post that comes up, and then it has this retractable holder that will hold tablets from 4 inches to 12 inches. So this thing holds some large tablets, and I'm able to fit my new iPad Pro 11-inch in here, and it just gives me a ton of screen real estate to be able to fly, to be able to see, and it's just awesome. So I did a full review. Let me change back here. I did a full review of this mount. I mean, there's not much to it. It's very simple, but it has performed very well for me. And there's a link to that review down in the description if you want to see more detail about how to set this thing up with your controller and how it works. And it does also work with the Mavic Pro controllers as well, because they're similar style and design to the Mavic Air. So basically anything in the Mavic series, this mount from Skyreet is what it's called, the company, it'll work. And it's real simple, collapses down, goes in the bag with the Mavic, no problem, but it allows me to have that bigger screen, which, I like big screens. So there we go. Let's see what we've got here. Shiznut's somewhat not completely late. You made it, man. Within the first 15 minutes of the stream going live, I consider that a win, man. Well done. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad to see that everybody is, still tuning in and hasn't forgotten about me after my disappearance for the past month or so and missing streams. So I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be hanging out with you guys. So let's see what we've got now. The next thing, yeah, this guy. So we of course have the drone, that's a way to sort of move your camera, you can fly and all that kind of stuff. But another thing that I love is gimbals. So I've always had the large original DJI Ronin, which is gigantic, it's heavy, but it works really well for cameras like my Ursa Mini. And when I adopted a smaller camera, like the Panasonic GH5 that I mentioned, it was a little excessive to have a gimbal that large with a camera that small, so I looked for something smaller. And the one that I settled upon, and like I said, this is another one that is by no means new or top of the line, but it is the one that has been tried and true for me, and I've trusted it on pretty much every project that I've shot with the GH5. That's gonna be this guy. This is the Gimbaal Crane V2. So, of course, their naming scheme is absolutely ridiculous. There have been new models since this. So there's the Crane 2, there's the Crane Plus. Now they have the GIMBAL thing, or some people call it the Crane 3, but this is the Crane V2. So it's it's a few models back, but it does absolutely everything that I ask of it. So I can easily mount my Panasonic GH5 on here. I can even put some decently weighted lenses on here. I can control the camera remotely. It has a little USB connector that goes to the GH5, so I can start and stop it. I have a, let's see, probably won't be able to get this whole thing in shot here, but nope, not even close. Not even close. All right, well, I knew that was going to be an issue with all these objects being of different size. Let's try our top down. Let me lay this guy down for us. So I have the thumb controller here. So I'm able to do manual control. I'm able to do start and stop. I'm able to switch the modes. While of course all those controls are also right here on the gimbal itself. I like having this thumb controller here. So this is the, like I said, the V2 from Zhiyun. So there are newer, maybe more fully featured versions out there. Obviously, there's tons of companies who make gimbals now for these smaller cameras. Of course, DJI has the Ronin S, and Mozwa Air has some, and gimbals are a dime a dozen these days. There's so many options out there. This is the one I went with. This is the one I've been super happy with. This guy has been in my kit for every single job I have done in 2018. And because it's a little older, it's actually discounted price right now. So you can find it cheaper than when I bought it. I think it was 500 plus bucks, but now it's available for much, much less. I think I saw it for like $300 or $400. There is an Amazon link, of course, down below so that you can go and pick one up if you're interested in this particular model. Or of course, you can pick up any of the other models as well. Like I said, this one is just really great and now at a really affordable price. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, I need to pull this up a little bit. Hang on, guys. I was doing a little sizing and changing and stuff there, so I want to make sure we can see all of our chat on the screen as it scrolls up. So let's check our chat here just real quick. Shiznut says, I need some kind of mount for the DJI Osmo Pocket. Yeah, so I remember you told me that you just picked one of those up. Why the heck do they release a camera without any way to mount it? It's pretty much too flimsy on its own if you want motion lapses or something. Yeah, I saw a few reviews of the Osmo Pocket. I don't want to get sidetracked and everything because I've never used that. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be accessories coming soon to help that thing sort of tripod mount or whatever, as opposed to just trying to stand it up on its own. Sean Mark Nipper says, let's hear it for the Ronin S. Yeah, Ronin S I have used. I find it a bit heavy. This guy is definitely lighter. It doesn't have the payload capacity of the Ronin S, so if that's something you need, then obviously one of those bigger handheld gimbals is going to be the way to go for you. But I am a Zhiyun Crane V2 fan till the end. I don't see any reason for me to change or upgrade this guy for the foreseeable future. So yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is something you've probably noticed that's on here is obviously the crane itself is just this center stock. It's a one-handed gimbal, or is intended to be. But Zhiyun also makes this accessory for these handlebars. So these handlebars allow me to handle, while it's light, it'll still wear down on you if you're trying to run this thing with just one hand. So it allows you to sort of split that weight a little bit, and I find gives me a lot more stability and a lot more control. And again, I'm used to using the full scale Ronin, which is of course dual handled, and so I picked up these dual handlebars for this guy, and I haven't looked back. I don't think I've ever used it in just the single-handed operation. I just find the dual handles better. Obviously, it's not as small of a footprint, it makes it a little bit larger, and some people might say that it's defeating the purpose of a single-handed gimbal, but I find that, your shoulders are going to thank you, and I find that your footage is going to be a little bit better, because this helps you have a lot more control with your turns, with your panning and tilting, and it also helps you to have two arms on it to help stabilize that up and down. So there's a link to these in the description down below. They are a separate purchase. They do not come with this unit. You might be able to find a kit, but there's a link to them on Amazon down below. I highly recommend that you get the dual handle. It's my preference for how to operate. And of course, it allows me to mount stuff like that thumb controller and a monitor over here and all that. So I say dual handles get dual thumbs up. So there we go. Sorry guys, that was cheesy as heck, but had to go for it. Let me put this guy down. Let's take a peek at our chat here. I know we got a few other things in here. So more gimbals. So Shizans, you have a Pilot Fly H1 with handlebar somewhere. Never really used it that much. Yeah, well, maybe dig it out for 2019 and start playing around with it more. See if you can get it into your workflow. Gimbals aren't for everybody. They definitely have a different look to them. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people say it's a little too mechanical and not as organic looking as like a Steadicam. But I am a gimbal fan because of the speed, because of the shots I can get. Throw that GH5 on there and I'm able to move and do some like faux dolly shots and all sorts of stuff with the gimbal. All right, let's see where we are. Yes, here we go. So I just mentioned that with those dual handles, I was able to mount other accessories. One was that thumb controller and the other is a monitor. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I had a very special little mount on there for that monitor, and it is absolutely one of my favorite things. I have so many of these. Let me get it. So it's not the monitor itself here. We're going to be looking at this little guy in here that allows me to quickly mount and unmount this monitor. So let me get you guys a close-up here. Like I said, I have a ton of these guys. Here we go. So this right here is from Lampart, and it is the MQR-01, which basically stands for Monitor Quick Release 01. And what it is it is a little metal adapter that you mount, and it helps you to quickly mount, unmount accessories. This one is particularly targeted for monitors, but you could of course use it for absolutely anything. And what it is it's basically a mini V-lock system in here. So if you take a look at this, it's just like a V-lock battery type thing. So it has the female sort of receptacle here, and there's a male shoe right here, and they go together and they click and lock. So I just take it, click lock, it's on there. It is a solid and secure mount. I might need to raise this camera up a little bit, but anyway, let me go back to one. Come on, switcher. There we go. But obviously I have this on a friction arm right here, but it is 1/4-20 threaded, and it also has a little angle to it. And I absolutely love these things. They're, I think, $35 on Amazon right now. So, they're not super cheap for what they are, just being little bits of metal, but in terms of filmmaking gear, that might as well be a penny. But I have a video where I talk about these in depth, as much depth as there is, because they're pretty simple, pretty ingenious. There's a link to that video down below if you guys want to go and see my review of these. But I have a ton of these because I like to, instead of having to take these shoes on and off, I actually permanently keep these shoes on all of my monitors. On my Atomos Shogun, my Shogun Inferno, this is the Aperture VS5. So all of my monitors get these, and then I of course have a bunch of these as well. They come as a pair, so you know, if you get one part, you get the other part. And then I keep them on friction arms or whatever else, or on my handlebar there for my gimbal, so that whenever I need to, just quick lock, snap. There's no shake, no wiggle to it. It's really secure. These things are so simple, but so awesome. They'd make a great Christmas gift for somebody too, but I don't know if you can get them to them in like 3 days. But anyway, there's that. I'm starting to fill up my table here. Let's set that guy out of the way. There we go. Let's see what we got in the chat here before we move on to our next thing. We're making some good progress. I like it. So Shizan says, I think I messed up the PID settings and firmware flashing at one time and then got all trippy on me. Talking about your gimbal. Yeah, the older gimbals, when you had to calibrate them with like a computer and use the PID settings, I'm so glad those days are behind us, because that was never fun. Shiznut says, I don't have the Lampart quick release, but I've been using the Velbon QRA3 since forever. I'll have to look into that. I know I have seen similar, if not identical things out there. I haven't particularly seen the Velbon one, so I'll take a look for that. But this one, you know, the guys from Lampart showed it off to me at NAB, I think maybe 2 years ago, and I've picked up, like I said, half dozen of them just to have them all over the place, because nobody likes threading stuff on and threading stuff off, especially when it's on a rig. It's just a pain in the butt. So if you do find another one that does the same thing, by all means, of course, go for it. But if you want to pick up the Lampart one, like I said, there's a link in the description down below for you guys. Talking about monitors here, she's saying, talking about the Ninja 5. Pat yourself on the back for self-control for not buying it yet. Yeah. And you still have the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K on order. Can't believe they haven't fulfilled all orders yet. Yeah, you know, it's almost impossible to do a live show without some mention of that camera. I haven't ordered the camera. I've heard both good things and bad things, but who knows, maybe in 2019 I'll pick one up and play with it, and maybe it will become the new king of my favorite gear in 2019. So we'll see. You never know what 2019 will bring. Maybe it'll be new cameras. Who knows? So moving right along, I'm like speed talking my way through this. Let me get a drink of water here. Want to make sure I don't forget anything on this list. So we've covered cameras. We've covered camera movement in terms of drone and gimbal. And I've shown you some mounting things, you know, that quick release and the iPad mount for your Mavic series drone. Now I'm going to move on to lighting. So I have a ton of lighting from a ton of different companies, but there are definitely a few lights that have found their way into my kit the most this year, and that have been extremely versatile for me. And the first one of those is a little guy that is new in 2018, and that's going to be the Aperture F7. So let me grab that guy. So here we go. Switch here. Oh, you're in my shot. Get out of there. Lampart, you had your day in the sun. It's Aperture's turn. So here we go. This is the Aperture Amaran F7 light. It is a tiny but powerful LED light. So I've got it in here. And this is the puppy itself. I'm going to get rid of this case. We don't need to see what's in here. I have a video talking about everything that's in this case. And we actually did a live show where we tested this light. So we unboxed it, got some first impressions, took a look at it, and then did a lot of testing with it. So there's a link to that down below if you want to get a lot more in-depth detail on this light. But for today, I just kind of want to showcase it. So this light is absolutely incredible. It has some serious output, and one of the best things about it is that it can be powered by so many different ways. So it can be powered by a Sony style battery. I have one right here. There we go, so it's on. So powered by a Sony style battery, or you can power it, there's a USB-C port on the side here, so you can power it from that. And it also has D-Tap, so you can power it through D-Tap. So that's crazy, the amount of powering options you have. Has this little screen, where is it, on this side? So it is bicolor. So let's go ahead and adjust. So it's bicolor all the way down to 3200 and all the way up. This is crazy, guys. To 9500. And of course, a click and the light is dimmable. So again, I go into depth on this light and we test it out and we see how accurate it is and stuff like that in that other video. So I'm not going to go super in depth with it right now, but this thing is fantastic. I have actually used this as a key in a portable lighting interview kit. I had to shoot some stuff when we were in Key West, didn't want to bring a huge kit, didn't need a huge kit, and this guy was the star of the show for that. So it can be an accent light, it can be a fill light, it can be an effects color light if you want that super, super cool 95,000. And it's just a freaking awesome light. I love it. And if you forget your batteries, you know what? If you've got a phone charger battery pack, plug it in via USB-C, and there you go. So this puppy will run on pretty much anything. If you can't find a way to turn this thing on, you're probably doing something wrong. So Aperture F7, link in the description down below. It's under $100. It's like $98 for a light of this power and quality. This one definitely is topping my lighting list for 2018. So let's get this guy out of here and talk about some other lights. Let's see. Ooh, chat's keeping busy. I like that. Let's take a peek here. Shiznuts is asking, I'll answer real quick here. He's asking what my cameras are right now for the stream. So right now, the A-cam that you are looking at is the Blackmagic Design Ursa Mini 4.6K. So that is over there with a Rokinon, I think 50 millimeter Cine DS lens on it, right there. Angle number 2 over here. This is my Panasonic GH5 with a Metabones speed booster on it and the Canon 24-105. I am shooting in Vlog, but outputting it with a LUT over HDMI. Find it gives me a little bit better dynamic range. And camera number 3 on our overhead, which seems to be looking a little funky today. I think I might need to adjust the settings. This is the Panasonic G7 up there. So it is mounted up on the ceiling, just out of view. So it is literally like right here. And it is my permanently mounted top-down camera. It's fantastic. It can shoot 4K, but I believe I have everything just set to 1080 because I'm not streaming in 4K. So there you go. Those are the, and it just has the kit lens on it, so nothing fancy, but it works. Let's see what else we got going on here. Shiznuts, you are keeping me busy today in that chat, man. Good, man. Let's see. You said somehow you missed that aperture light. Need to catch up on that. Yeah, definitely check out the F7, man. For the price, I'm looking to probably pick up a few more of them and just have a bunch on hand. And let's see. Yeah, you like that comment. If you can't find a way to turn it on, you're doing something wrong. Literally, you can power that thing from anything. So let's move right along. Our next light, I'm just going to confirm in my list. I'm pretty sure I know where I was going with this, but yes, indeed. All right, so the Aperture F7 was a bicolor light, but of course, one of the hot new trends in LED lighting these days is RGB. And I have been picking up some RGB lights, and this next one I only got in very recently, but it is already going to the top of my list for lights that are going to live in my kit, and it is this guy right here. This is the Luxley Cello. It is a 10-inch RGB AW light. RGB meaning red, green, blue. AW meaning amber and white. What that means is that it can also not only do the full spectrum of colors with the RGB, but it can also do the spectrum of color temperatures, amber being tungsten, white being daylight end. So really, really cool light. I haven't shown this to you guys yet because it is very new for me, but I am going to be doing a video review of this soon. I am planning on having that out in early 2019 because I love this light. It is on sale, which is why I picked it up. So there's a link in the description down below. It's usually like 600 bucks or something like that. And I think I got this with a diffuser kit for like 350. So still not super cheap, but amazing when you can see what this guy can do. I'll power it up and show you a little bit of it right now. We don't have time to go through everything because it is feature packed. So make sure you're subscribed so that you can check out that review when I get it out. Because I will, guys, I will. Let me see here. All right, cool. So I'm going to take a battery. Let's go to that G7 angle that I was talking about. So here is the Luxley Cello. And I'm going to strap this battery on there. And then it has a power button underneath. And it'll boot up. And right now I have it set to green. So there we go. Let's see if I can zoom this in here so you guys can see a little bit more. And let's tap to focus there. There we go. All right, guys. So this, like I said, is a full RGB light. So this thing is awesome. So right now I'm going through and playing with the colors in degrees. It has a little thing up here. It shows you the spectrum where it is, and it also shows you here. So you can, if you know the degree of a color, you can go straight to it. So right here, it's letting me know, boom. All right, I'm on cyan right there. Of course, dimmable, awesome. But here's some of its party tricks. Click that, oops, sorry, that's changing my saturation so I can make sure the color isn't as saturated. Let's bring it back up to 100. But if we click down here, there's a little button on the bottom here, and this changes its modes. So we'll go ahead and click. And now we're in our standard like Kelvin color temperature range. So we can go ahead and dial through that. So all the way up to 10,000 Kelvin, and then we can bring it all the way down. Goodness gracious. And as you can see, it's going through these different settings up on top. So when I hit there, it's saying 6400 is sort of a cloudy. We go here. 56, it's telling me that's daylight, it's got a little sun. So it's got some little indicators along the way, but this puppy will go all the way down to 3000. So there's 3000 Kelvin. But wait, there's more. There's one more mode that if you click again, this is really cool. It has built-in gels, or what it's doing is emulating the effects of gels. So right now it's a minus green, double CTB, so double color temperature blue, full color temperature blue, 3/4 CTB, half, goes all the way through CTOs, bastard amber, gold tint, pale gold, magenta pink. So all of these, this is ridiculous, all of these filters are built in, or at least it's emulating the effect of these filters. So let me get it down to, let's see, 150 different filters are built into this. So you can emulate the effect of all of those filters with this light, and you can then tell somebody, like say you're using this on a set, let me get my back to one. Let's say you're using this on a set and you notice that your lighting is in your set that you're trying to match has a little bit of green to it or whatever. You can add or subtract green, you can change this, and you can even just tell them the gel number. So it'd be like, you know, give me a 10, which I think was that full CTB or whatever. But yeah, so it has that built in as well. That's why this light is definitely making my list. It's definitely going into my kit, because even if you're not using it like a crazy party light, having all those gels in there for lighting correction or lighting matching is absolutely insane. Like I said, 10-inch light, LED panel, controllable from your phone too. That's a whole nother thing. Stay tuned for the review of it. But this light is definitely a keeper. And of course it comes with this diffuser that can snap on the front so you can soften the light as well. Let me get that battery out of there. Pop this guy to the side and see what you guys are saying in the chat here. Okay. Ooh, we got a bunch of people. Trevor's in here. Did I miss the whole party? No, you did not. We're getting towards the end, but you have not missed it. And of course, you can always go back and watch the replay to see all the great stuff we've already covered. Welcome, Trevor. It is good to see you. A little chat back and forth there. Just making sure. And Trevor's saying the aperture interface on their lights has really taken a step up this year. You know what? That's actually a pretty good segue into the next light I'm going to talk about. So thank you very much, Trevor. Let me just make sure I'm on track here. I am indeed. So the next light that I'm going to talk about is from Aperture. I love their lights. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I just really, really like their products for their pricing and their quality. And the next light, I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of it. Let me bring it out. It is this guy. So this is the Aperture 120D. I guess we've got the chat kind of covering it, don't we? Here, I'm going to shut the chat off just for a second so we can take a look at this guy. So this is the Aperture 120D. This is not the brand new 120D Mark II. So Trevor was talking about how the interfaces on their control boxes have become a lot more advanced and everything. That would be in the 120D Mark II. This is the original. I still love it just as much, and I may be picking up a 120D Mark II to accompany this guy, you know, keep him from getting lonely. I also have the 300D, which I love, but it is big, it's a beast. When you need that power, it is awesome. But I find that most of the time, the 120D is my go-to for interviews, for effects lighting, for absolutely anything. This thing is amazing. And of course, for those of you who may not know somehow, the 120D is a COB light, which is a chip on board, which means it is sort of a single hard source LED light. This one is daylight balanced. That's what the D is. And it has this Bowens mount on the front that makes it extremely versatile. So I have the reflector dish on there right now, but there are so many Bowens accessories that you can put on this, both ones from Aperture, but also the entire library that exists out there of Bowens, which is a popular photography mount. All of those accessories that you may have or from other companies will fit onto this light. And the reason that we can do that is because it's LED. It's not hot, it's not going to burn those photo modifiers, so you can safely use like photo soft boxes that have a Bowens mount and stuff like that. So you can put a Fresnel lens on this, you can put a softbox on it, you can put just a dish on it, you can put grids on it, you can put barn doors on it. Basically, you can turn this light into whatever you need for your specific project, and I absolutely love the 120D. So I did a review of this one. Again, this is the Mark I when I first got it a while ago. If you're interested, go ahead and take a look. The link is in the description down below. And I also do have Amazon affiliate links for both this model, which is still plenty good, and also the Mark II version, which has a few more party tricks, has some more output and stuff like that. And who knows, maybe I'll get one of those in 2019 and talk to you guys about it. I know it's a little old news now, but you know what? This guy is by no means obsolete. One of my favorite lights, definitely in my kit for when I need to do some serious big lighting. Yeah, so there we go. Let's get this guy off to the side. He can hang out there. I don't know why I kept him off to the side, like I was going to have it be a surprise or something. You could obviously go to the list below and see everything I was going to talk about, but don't do that. Let the next things be a surprise. Don't cheat. All right, so let's get our chat back up. There we go. Let me pull up here. Oh, I also wanted to say, you know, I just shared some of my favorite lighting stuff, in particular with the 120D. I have a link to a fun video. It's real short. It's just sort of behind the scenes of a shoot I did in Dallas earlier this year, where the 120D was one of our lights on that set. It's sort of interview, but I made this little behind the scenes thing. It's like a minute and a half long, and set it to some super overly epic music. So there's a link down in the description below to the overly epic behind the scenes of this shoot, and you'll see some of the aperture lighting setup that we used for that shoot. It was awesome. All right, let's see what we got here in our chat. Yeah, talking about that Luxley cello, saying it's nuts regarding the options. Yeah, the addition of that mode where you can emulate gels, 150 gels, that's insane. That's so cool. I absolutely love that. Let's see here, the Panda Photographer. That's an awesome name. I might have to check out your channel. You got pandas on there? That's awesome. Let's see here. 120D, Trevor saying 120D is such a bread and butter product. Yeah, it really is. It's the standard sort of baseline for hard source LED lighting. Now, there are lots of other companies that are making similar things that, might even outperform this guy. That's the way the market goes. People emulate, replicate, improve upon. Nothing wrong with that. Just the one that I have, and the one that has been tried and true for me for all of 2018 and beyond is that 120D. So, been great for me. Let's see here. The Panda Photographer says, but I'd like bicolor lights better. Bicolor LED. So yeah, you want a bicolor LED like that. There are actually some coming out. I forget the exact models. If you pop over to Caleb Pike's channel, over at DSLR Video Shooter, he just did a review of a light that is similar to this in terms of construction. I think he actually compared it to the 300D, but it is bicolor. The name of the brand is escaping me right now, but if you go ahead over there and check out his video, it should be one of his most recent videos. You can check that out. So again, not something I've personally checked out, but yes, the versatility to have something like that be bicolor would be awesome. No Panda on the channel. I'm called Panda. All right, well, there you go. Let's see here. The only reason I was asking is because some friends that we're about to go see later today, one of them is absolutely obsessed with pandas. So let's see what we've got. So, oh, cool. We're going to move into some audio. So full disclaimer up at the front here. I am not a sound guy. I'm not an audio guy. I know enough to make my audio sound decent, but when it comes to really digging into the nitty-gritty and knowing why one microphone sounds better than the other one, I couldn't explain it to you. I don't know the science behind it as much. And so, yeah, just putting that out there. But I do have a need to have some basic audio equipment. Obviously, I have a mic set up right here on me, but I found something new this year, new to me. It's an old product. It's been around for God knows how long, but it has been awesome, and I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of it being used on my channel. Let me grab that guy right now. Ooh, getting low over here. So it is this guy right here, Tascam right there, old school brand. It's this guy right here, teeny tiny little recorder. This is the Tascam DR10L. And what this is it is a teeny tiny audio recorder. It's smaller than most lavalier packs, and it takes an SD card. Let's see where it is, or a micro SD card right there. And you plug a lav mic into the top. It has a little LCD screen so that you can set everything up and go through the menus, get it the way you want it. Start, stop, record functionality all right there. And the kit comes with a lav mic with a locking connector right there. And I've got a few other accessories, some foamies and stuff in here. But this is pretty much it, guys. And what this allows me to do, let me tell you why I have something like this. What this allows me to do is it allows me to not worry about having a large standalone audio recorder like a Tascam DR40 or a Zoom when I'm out and shooting videos for YouTube. Maybe I'm doing like a vlog style or something like that. This guy just clips onto my belt. I run this mic up, I start recording on this, and I will have to sync my audio in post, but it means that I'm getting awesome audio recorded right to here. Now, when would I use this? With my Insta360 One X, you'll see this in the review. Obviously, the onboard microphone, the onboard audio is not great, but I wanted to do some walk and talks with that, or even if you're using like a GoPro or something like that. So what I'll do is keep the scratch audio in the camera, just for syncing, and I'll pop this on me, roll the camera, go ahead, do my piece to camera with either a GoPro or the Insta360, and then done. And then go ahead and when I'm editing, sync it, and I have nice high quality audio to go along with that video. I know a lot of people use these for like weddings as well, because you can just pop it on, the bride. They even make it in white, so if you want to pop it on the bride or something like that. I don't do weddings. I'm going to use this more for that sort of vlog style setup in the future, I think. But this thing is so cool. It's so small, and it's just perfect to toss into my backpack when I'm traveling, because you never know when I want to record some nice audio. Now, of course, there are mics where you can record to your phone, but sometimes I need my phone to control the device that I'm using. So like the Insta360, for example, if I want to control it with, you don't have to, you can start stopping manually, but if I want to control it with my phone can only be doing one thing at a time. I guess I could record in the background, but I don't want to have my phone tied up doing that. I just keep this on me and I'm good to go. So I don't know if that'll be helpful to you guys, but it's a cool little piece of kit that I found and picked up, and I really like it. Of course, affiliate link in the description down below. Let's see what we've got going on here. There we go. They are perfect for weddings, the DR10L. Yeah, so there you go. So if you are shooting weddings or something like that, these are extremely popular. Like I said, I was scratching my head for a minute. I was like, why did they make a model in white? Like the whole body is white, the whole mic is white, the cable is white, like completely white. It's like, why would they do that? And then of course somebody told me, oh, it's so you can mic a bride in a white dress and not see it. Duh, makes sense. So there you go, DR10L from Tascam. Awesome little thing to add to your kit, especially if you're trying to stay small and go. So when I go now and travel places, I used to want to have like all of the gear, but like I said, I'm getting older, getting wiser, getting weaker. And so I'm going for the lighter weight gear, the lighter weight drones, the lighter weight cameras, the 360 cameras, the tiny audio recorders. So you're seeing a kind of a trend here. I'm trying to start taking it easy on myself. So there we go. So that's all I've got for audio, guys, because like I said, I really don't pick up a ton of audio equipment, because if I'm doing a big project, I'm bringing in a sound guy who's got all the gear. So I basically just have enough to get by, and that's it. So not a whole lot of audio expertise from me, but that is my recommendation from this year. Let's see here, we're getting down to the end. All right, so we're gonna get into some editing stuff. So I've been doing some editing on the road, been doing some editing here. Basically, I'm always looking for things to improve my editing workflow. And this year I found a few things that are helpful, different, and things that I've been experimenting with. And the first product that I have been absolutely loving, I've actually got it in use right here. Let me go to our overhead. She probably won't fit. Right now it's got you guys up on it. Let's go ahead and tab out of that. But here we go. This is the brand new 2018 model, the 11-inch iPad Pro. So I had an iPad Mini 4 for a long time, and it was starting to get a little bit slow. So I picked up one of these. Now I know these are not cheap, but there's a reason. Basically, this thing has some serious horsepower. It is basically a computer, in here. I did get it with a ton of storage. I have the 1 terabyte model, and the reason is because I've been experimenting with editing directly onto here so that I can leave the laptop at home and take this and do my editing. And I actually cut that the Insta360 test video that I have a link down in the description for you guys. I did that entire thing on the iPad Pro. From messing with the Insta360 files, getting them the way I wanted, exporting them out to an app called LumaFusion, doing the editing there, and then doing the export from there out all on the iPad without ever touching the computer. So this is something that I'm experimenting with going forward, but of course, an iPad has so many other uses as well. Let me go ahead and get it open. I did get the pencil with it because I have been finding it really nice to sort of tactilely move through and function it. But I do have tons of filmmaking apps and stuff that I use to help me out, you know, calculate time lapses and all sorts of stuff like that. This is actually, I did a video on this a long time ago that I need to update because a lot of the apps are out of date, but I will put a link to that in the description down below so you guys can go check that out. But you know, it's an iPad and I'm experimenting with it, but I really see myself getting a lot of use out of this. I see it replacing my laptop when I'm on the road. Again, that whole idea of traveling smaller and traveling smarter. And you want to know something else that's pretty cool about this? If I take this case off of it, so it's just a magnetic case. Remember this guy I talked about? Let's go ahead, pop that there. Pop that there. There you go, guys. Now, if that isn't some serious screen real estate for flying your Mavic drone, I don't know what is. That's pretty cool. Like I said, the Skyreach mount will handle tablets up to 12 inches. This is the 11-inch version. I didn't go for the gigantic one. I didn't want it that big. But now I can use my iPad Pro 11-inch as my screen when I'm flying. So that's pretty awesome. So let me go ahead and get this back up so that I can see your guys' chat real easily. It's not that it's super tight, I just don't want it springing back on my finger. There we go. So I don't want you to think it's jammed in there or anything like that. It does have some flexibility. So let's get this mount. You had your time in the spotlight. Let me pull you guys back up. There we go. There we go. All right, so it looks like you guys are having a lively chat and discussion in there, which is awesome. But yeah, iPad Pro, I approve. Like I said, I usually hang on to tech for as long as I can, especially when it's stuff like an iPad. But I had that iPad Mini 4, and it was starting to show its age, and I figured it was time to upgrade. And I think you're going to see a lot more stuff from me that utilizes the iPad and is edited completely on the iPad because it now has the power of a computer, which is pretty cool. All right, so next thing in editing, obviously if I'm going to be editing on the road and mobile, I do need a file storage solution and device, a hard drive of some sort. And the one that I reviewed earlier this year and that I'm still loving is this guy. This right here is the DJI and LaCie collaboration called the Copilot Boss hard drive. This is a 2 terabyte hard drive that you can offload files to without a computer. You're seeing a sort of trend of the way I'm going here. So let's go to our overhead. Let's see if I can show you. So it is a sort of in their rugged disc style here with rubberized, but the real kicker is this. So here you go, you have a USB port where you can connect card readers to it and dump your footage directly to it. There is an SD card slot. I just keep an SD to micro SD adapter in there. So drone footage, GoPros, whatever, boop, click right in there. There you go. And it is one press. There's one button to control everything, to copy and offload. It's this button right here. It shows me how much space I've got free. It's got this awesome screen that'll give you all of the details of what you're copying, what you're doing, and all of that. And then it has multiple connectors so that you can take it and then connect it to your phone or tablet or whatever so that you can do some organizing of your files, renaming. You can even preview your files. You can do everything without ever connecting to a computer. I have not yet successfully been able to get it to talk to the iPad Pro. I'm not sure if there needs to be some updating going on there, but it will connect to my phone, which is no problem. And it stores all of my media right there. It's good to go. It's safe. Then I can take it, bring it back, dump it on the computer, do whatever you got to do. I did a full review and detailed explanation of how to use this particular device, link down in the description below. So if you want a really in-depth look at how to use this thing and what you can use it for, go ahead and check out that video, because again, I could talk about it forever, but we've already covered it. So make sure you go ahead and check out that video down there. Let's get that guy out of the way. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is a piece of software. So I'm always picking up new pieces of software that'll help me in my editing workflow. But the GH5, when it first came out, presented a particularly interesting challenge. So the GH5 got upgraded and it had that 10-bit capability. Now I edit on Macs, but I know even people with PCs were having issues where they weren't ready for 10-bit footage. They couldn't play it back natively in the OS. And even at first, our editing software, Final Cut, Premiere, that they wouldn't handle 10-bit. And so I had to find a way to quickly transcode my files to something else that was readable, but hopefully not squeeze down my footage and lose quality and all that. And I found, with a little bit of searching, the perfect program for it, which now, now the GH5 footage is more easily accepted natively, but I still use this software for tons of my footage. And this software is called Edit Ready. Particularly, it's Edit Ready 2. And I'm going to pull it up real quick and show you guys the interface of this. It's super simple. Sorry, it's going to get a little bit crazy on the screen here because you're going to see my, my OBS feed, but hopefully I can manage the inception stuff here. So let me close that. Let me close that. Let me open up here my main screen. Okay, you should be seeing that now. Let's shrink our OBS, and I'm going to bring up Edit Ready. So here you go, guys. This is Edit Ready. This program does cost 50 bucks, so it's not free, but it is extremely powerful, and you get a lot of functionality out of it. And it's real simple. What you do is you just take your clips, whatever they may be, you drag them into this queue here, and then you go through and you choose all your settings. Oh, it looks like DNX is not enabled on my particular computer right here. I think they're starting to do away with DNX, actually. That might be why. But anyway, you've got all of these flavors of ProRes, and ProRes is what I like to usually transcode my footage to. So my drone footage, my GoPro footage, all of that stuff I will take and I will run it through Edit Ready and turn it into ProRes 422 or ProRes 422 LT, depending on how much space I want to take up. So it preserves the quality, but you get it in there, you select where you want it to go, you can change the file names, and then you just hit Convert All, and it very quickly, it is really fast, processes through your footage and dumps out the files that you need, and then you can get editing. So this is called Edit Ready. There's a link in the description down below if you guys want to pick it up. Like I said, it is $50. It is a paid program, but I have found so many uses for it. You get that H.264 footage from GoPros or the drones, and they're super compressed, and they could be a pain in the butt on your editing system. So real quick, converting them and packing them as a ProRes allows it to just run like butter on whatever machine you are on. So let me go ahead, bear with me guys, I'm gonna bring you guys back. Let's go to live chat. Okay, so that brings us back. Cool. Nice, so we've successfully gone in there. Hopefully I didn't make anyone dizzy with all those screens and stuff, but I think we did it pretty cleanly there. So Edit Ready, really cool. Like I said, it is paid. But one cool thing that they just did is they just upgraded it to version 2.5, which can process Blackmagic RAW files. So you can take them and convert them then to something else like ProRes. Not sure why you would really do that. I wish it could encode to Blackmagic RAW, but of course, obviously you can't add raw data that isn't there in your recorded file anyway. But the thing is that they update it. They stay on top of the latest codecs. They did it with that GH5 10-bit. They were like the only software that would handle that stuff. And then, you know, now they've already got Blackmagic RAW support. So pretty cool. Well, guys, that is, I think, it. I don't have anything else hiding over here. We went through cameras, we went through drones, we went through a gimbal, we went through lighting, we went through a tiny bit of audio, and we did some editing stuff. So those are all of the items and products that have found their way into my workflow the most in 2018. Will continue to be in my workflow as we head into 2019, and I hope some of that stuff was helpful for you guys. Maybe you learned about some new things that you might want to check out yourself. Again, there are links down in the description below where you can go ahead and pick any of those up if you're interested in them. So let's take a quick look at the chat here, hang out for just a few minutes. We are just over our hour mark, but I want to make sure I see if you guys have any questions before I get out of here and let you guys go. So let's see what we've got here. Let's see where we got. So where do I want to pick up? Looks like we're having a good conversation in there. Trevor says $50 is cheap for the headache it gets rid of. Yeah, it's talking about Edit Ready. Yeah, $50, it's a one-time payment thing, you know, and I've been using it since 2017, it must be, because I picked it up with the GH5 10-bit when that came out. Maybe it was 2018, I don't know, I'd have to look back. They all blur together, but yeah. It keeps being updated, it's super versatile, and yeah, it saves you that headache of dealing with those files that aren't easy to edit, or maybe that you can't even open with just a click of a button. So yeah, it is worth $50 to get rid of the headache. Let's see here. Trevor says, I finally pulled the trigger on the Pocket 4K. Considering the backlog, I'm expecting to get mine in 2020. Yeah, that camera, you know, I have been sort of interested in, like I said, maybe picking it up to experiment with in 2019. But yeah, there's no sign of when my order would be fulfilled if I ordered this late. I mean, I don't know if most of their backlog is taken care of, but whew, good luck, Blackmagic. Keep cranking those things out, man. Romani Review is here. Hey, good to see you, man. He says, just dropping by to wish a Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Now, this brings up something that I want to share. Romani and I have conversations all of the time outside of this live show forum here, because he is a member on my Discord server. So there's a link down in the description below. There's a lot in the description below on this one, but there's a link to that Discord server. And what it is like our own private chat room where you guys can join so that you can ask questions, you can share things, and we can stay in touch and hang out even beyond these live shows. It's like a 24/7 live access to me and everybody else in there. So if you have a question, a concern, something you want to share, something you want me to take a look at, or you just have some work that you're proud of that you want to show off, make sure you go ahead and join that Discord, pop in there, and say hello and hang out. We're going to try and build it into a really great collaborative community. We've got a few people in there, and I keep trying to make sure that I'm in there as much as possible, guys. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. So let's see if we have anything else, and then I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. Let's see here, just a little bit more talk and frustrations about that Blackmagic Pocket 4K camera. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shut down our chat here, guys. I want to thank you guys who joined us live today very much for hanging out. Always good to see you guys. Like I said, it had been a while since I had done a live stream. We had so much going on, but I'm glad to see you all here and engaging. That's what makes live awesome. For those of you who may be here for the first time, please keep coming back. Make sure you go ahead and click subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I have a huge lineup of videos that I'm planning for 2019, and that way you'll get notified when all that stuff comes out. And of course, you'll be notified whenever we go live. The plan is still Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and we will hold true to that next week. Next week, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It will be the official last live stream of 2018, and I'm going to be live editing my 2018 demo reel. So the year's ending, I need to look back at the work I've done and cut an updated demo reel. And so it's going to be a really informal, just live stream hangout as I do that. I don't know how long it'll go. It depends on how long I take to edit it. But I'll be in the edit suite streaming upstairs, so we can chat, hang out, ask questions. I'll share my thought process with you guys as I'm going through and doing this edit, but it'll be just a really informal hangout. I'm just gonna let it stream and share my screen and chat with you guys, keep the chat open as I go through my work, put it together, and try and make a nice looking demo reel for 2018. So that's next week, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time is when we'll get started. Feel free to drop in anytime, say hello, and see how we're doing on that edit, because I plan to just let it stream until the edit's done. Anyway, guys, we're going to bring this one to a close. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you're watching the replay, thanks for tuning in as well. Thanks for checking it out. Hope some of this gear helps you guys out, and maybe you'll pick some of it up or find something similar, and maybe something gave you an idea that you hadn't thought of yet. So guys, take care of yourselves. I will see you next week, and we will close out 2018. And if I don't see you then I'll see you in 2019. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you. Where's my end show?